Telluric Shock, the last weapon I have to look at from the Who's the Boss update. It's a pretty simple one. Just jump, slam. Signature weapon of the Hand of the King. It's pretty good range, pretty good damage. You do have a little bit of movement options. The shockwaves push around enemies. But if I'm being perfectly honest, I do think that the big issue with this weapon comes that the heavy grenade is just better. It's a little bit larger cooldown time, but it has more damage. It has more... Well, it has an area that reaches above it. The Telluric Shock really only hits enemies on the ground. It's stylish, and I like everything about this weapon, but I do think that, well, the Hand of the King's own abilities are being outclassed by just... And one more. Are still being outclassed by a bowling ball with a wick in it. And that is actually why I do have this unlocked for this run as well, because I do want to do a little bit of compare and contrast eventually. Aside from that, though, I am planning to be... Oh boy. I'm planning to be doing a little bit of a Hand of the King type of build, actually using Symmetrical Lance, Assault Shield for the dash, got Tonic for the invincibility, and of course Telluric Shock, because that is his weapon. It was the one recently introduced. It's the new hotness. And I do think it's a good weapon, even though I think it... very close. Even though I think it might just, like I said, be outclassed by a good bomb. And yeah, I know Cluster Grenade would be the obvious bomb if I was taking any of them, but that doesn't scale with survival. And, well, I do think you should be taking survival if nothing else. And also, I will be... Oh boy. I will be continuing to use the... Are you kidding me? I will be continuing to use this build throughout the entire run, unless some sort of, I don't know, legendary cursed sword makes an appearance. Yeah, sure, that's marginally better. Also gives me a little bit more stat. Gets me a little bit more on the eventual stat path that I'm going to be using. A lot of decent survival weapons that have come about in this most recent update. But it's kind of funny that Telluric Shock has just about the exact same issue that the Giant's Whistle has, which is to say that grenade's better. The grenade's just better. And I think that really does speak more to just how good of a weapon that the heavy grenade is, more than these weapons being bad or anything like that. Because I would... Look, you know I would love to use... Sure. I would love to use... the Giant's Whistle all day, every day, but the huge cooldown time and the fact that the damage is only uncapped on regular enemies and not bosses kind of makes it not as appealing as it could be. Whereas the bomb has huge range, it has only slightly higher cooldown time than Telluric Shock, hits enemies in the air, and is almost assured to be capped by endgame, is instant use, so that you can use that to clear out curses really easily. It just has... I'm not saying Motion Twin please nerf, because I've gone on record before saying, you know, I would much rather see a bunch of weapons that are overpowered than underpowered. Dead Cells is a difficult game. I want as many advantages as I can possibly get. Huh, well, speaking of which... But, you know, I don't think Motion Twin is going to cotton to that idea as well. And they definitely haven't shown that in the past if they really want to. Okay, time to get rid of this 2 times damage taken, because, oh boy, that's already been causing me a lot of problems. This is also the completely... this is the starting weapon version of it, so it's completely unupgraded. It's just a bad version of it, period. I'm going to drop this thing like a bad habit. And you know what the best way to do that? Upgrade it twice. There we go. Looking much better. Still going to be switched out very quickly, but we'll see. You never know when you're going to get a new version of any individual weapon. Or when you're going to go. That's why we get high. Etc. You know, overall, the Who's the Boss update, I think, has been pretty fun. Every single one of the weapons, I'd like to say, is pretty stylish, pretty neat. Finally got the introduction of the pan. And, of course, I do think the Speen weapon is maybe one of the most overpowered that we've seen in some time. It is just, on all fronts, amazing. That said, it does kind of seem like maybe stuff like the flint and the tentacle, a little more gimmicky than usable in most runs. Pan is pretty good. Just the opposite version of the Assassin's Dagger, and as fast. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But then you get stuff like Telluric Shock and the giant whistle. I keep wanting to call it just the giant fist, but that's not correct. They're just kind of a little outclassed. So, I don't know, maybe it would be perfect. Maybe it would be worth buffing up these things a little bit or something. But aside from that, I mean, you got a bunch of new enemies out of it, a bunch of new weapons, a bunch of new showcases. I had a pretty fun time with it. Now, if only I would just not get another legendary cursed sword that I wouldn't be able to turn down taking and lose, I don't know, what was that, 15 minutes of footage because I decided to work on a gamble there? Hey, it could be the best episode ever if I managed to beat the game with a legendary cursed sword. Plus, it would be really easy to re-roll that into having 100% damage given and taken. And what does damage taken mean if it's always all of your health? Well, anyway. Not that this run is going to be tremendously easier. I mean, as much as I do really like using a survival-based build, it should be pretty obvious that that tends not to be melee survival. I've said many, many times that the... Yeah, sure, just for a little extra health. I've said many, many times that I think that survival ranged weapons are some of the best ranged weapons in the entire game. Still hold to that. Even though it has changed a little bit, what I think is the optimal build when it comes to that. As of right now, double boomerang is still great, even in spite of its nerfs. That, I don't know, it's using melee just comes with a lot of big drawbacks. And as much as I do think that... I've also gone on record in the past saying that the symmetrical lance is maybe one of the most iconic weapons in the game and everything. It's not that great. I mean, it's slow, the damage isn't super impressive, and you're not going to be able to get a critical when it really counts, i.e. during boss fights. It's still pretty cool, though. So I guess ultimately this run is going to be entirely themed around good but not optimal types of weaponry. Which is a strange theme that normally would be the sort of thing I would expect out of the suggested runs. Speaking of which, oh boy, it's a good thing I've been doing a lot with light speed lately, because I'm going to be getting a lot of usage out of that in the next one. Oh boy. Yeah, I've been working on trying to get that second episode of Lightspeed out. I mean, this is technically the end of new weapons, new weapon showcases, but still owe everybody here a... Oh, I got hit there? Oh, terrible. Still owe everybody a brutality-based Lightspeed run. And I've been getting a couple decent ones, but they've just been failing right at the last second. It's frustrating. It's like this weapon it's like that weapon is cursed. I don't even know what else to say. Maybe it's one of those many pacts that I made to try to make sure that I would never lose usage of the spider rune. And this latest one was making sure that I gave up my most recent attempt, which got into the castle with like 35 survival. Had to throw it just to make sure that the spider rune would remain in the game. Still say that's one of the best. It's also a bunch of stupid references to the streams I've been doing lately. Don't even worry about it. Okay. Not going too bad so far. I'm thinking a traditional route because, well, I'm already kind of a little worried about surviving, period. Melee attacks means being in melee range all the time, and slow attacks means always putting yourself in some pretty dire situations. Although it's not terrible because... hello, I was trying to get you to notice me, Senpai, so I can make a point. Because I can do stuff like this, and that's a lot of extra damage as well as defense that you can get compared to your usual shields and the like. As well as I should be using this for its proper speed run sort of strategies. It is maybe the best thing about the shield. But you know, it's one of those things that I rarely ever have this weapon unlocked. So getting a lot of usage, actually getting that... Oh, I got a good rhythm going here. Actually getting the super dash is... Yeah, I haven't gotten a whole lot of practice with it, is what I'm saying. Semi-speed run for the finale of the most recent update? Perhaps. I'm going to say unlikely, though. Oh, just that slight bit of distance that you move forward while swinging the weapon made it so that I was no longer behind that dude. Well, you really do have to be careful when using Telluric Shock with flying enemies because they will dodge that pretty well. And that's going to be a lot of damage that I don't want taking, that I probably will take. Because it's not like the... Symmetrical Lance has a very similar sort of issue with, well, any slow weapon. Sometimes it doesn't have as much of a hitbox above itself as, you know, more sweeping type of weapons. For example, your Cursed Sword that I was just using. What else can I possibly say? Hate that Cursed Sword, but I can't stay away from it. It's the forbidden fruit, and forbidden for good reason. It's not like you're gaining knowledge of good and evil or eternal life from it. No, it's just... It's actually really eternal death if you think about it. And it's not like legendary weapon was getting me a whole lot of extra benefit either. I guess unlike the usual weapon, I at least got 1 point of survival from it. Oh, come on. I wanted to go for the cool parry there. No such luck. Bam, and... There has been... One of the other things that I've noticed lately when doing a little bit of testing out of this run, whether on stream or by myself, is that the parry is just, I don't know, broken for this weapon? Sometimes it works, but most times if an enemy is rolling into you, it doesn't. It just pushes them back a little bit. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing, it's kind of questionable. I mean, that does at least say that you are getting a lot of... Oh, boy. You are getting a lot of stun time off of this thing, which I don't remember if that was true with this weapon before. But it hits enemies out of their attacking animation pretty well. And while nice, you know, there's a lot of on-parry effects that I would like to get right now. For example, the poison synergizes well with the grenade and everything. Oh, it generates a shield when used? I kind of like that. I think you already have a decent amount of iframes when you are jumping up in the air, though, so I don't know how much use I'm going to get out of that, but I'll give her the old college try. And there would be a second one if I wanted to go full-on, sort of like a non-shield parry. I've always described that as. Never been tremendously useful, but maybe this would be the time to try to get it to work for me. Great. Yeah, if nothing else, this shield definitely works wonders against this monster of rock. Cool. And 200 damage, 200%, sounds great. And also getting rid of a little bit of malaise. Always the most worrying thing when it comes to working with a survival run, and this is absolutely no exception. Whatever, getting hit by the biter doesn't... There's no kill doors or even time doors after this, and getting hit by the biter doesn't increase my malaise counter, so necromancy has my back. That's what I'm going to be relying on a lot here. In all likelihood, I'm probably going to end up taking in the next section... What, acceptance? Whoa, that was kind of weird, and I didn't even get the parry off properly. All right. That slight y-axis difference just, well, made all the difference. Are you kidding me? Yeah, okay. I would have been very disappointed in myself if I got hit there. Oh. That was riskier than I should have. There. That was riskier than that should have been. I almost got exploded on. And I don't know how I didn't. But if Dead Cells has taught us nothing, it's that sometimes close calls just happen and you shouldn't question them. I mean, the slam does. The Telluric Shock. Yeah. I thought it was called Telluric Slam or something. I mean, it is a super slam. Super slam. But that's not really the same thing. Yeah, Telluric Shock does still work as a dive attack, which is not tremendously helpful. But hey, I mean, in certain situations, you can really combo an enemy to death like none other if you... Probably not a bad idea. Okay. Really combo enemies to death like none other if you manage to get like a breakable floor, Ares rune type of area at the same time that you get a Telluric Shock. I was gonna say slam again on the enemy. Okay, all right, not too bad. I guess I'm doing pretty well right now, and hubris begets a fall, but that's not the point. I'm going to try going for this. I want as much money as possible. And this is also a good area just in general for... Ooh, my. It's also just a good area in general for getting gravity to do my work. Both the moon and gravity are a harsh mistress, after all. What do you got? Nah. Gold as well as a cell is tempting, but I like that burn when you dodge. That might have a little bit of decent... usage later as I get some more synergies going on. Potentially. And yeah, as far as comparing and contrasting goes, I do think that you can clearly start to see where some of the... Okay. Where some of the weaknesses of this weapon really come in. Oh, nice. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And I think I can probably just book her out of here at this point. I don't really need the second... whatever else is left in this area. The second key. Because I'm not looking to upgrade my stuff at least just yet. I also have a clear path to get out of here. I've been trying to get in the habit lately of taking these cursed chests before I leave the area rather than in the middle of it. Just because it tends to be that the second area is a lot easier to deal with comparatively. Provided that shockers aren't going to be too nasty to work with. Telluric Shock does give you a pretty nice opening for any enemy. I mean, obviously you just jump towards them, and then you can get even farther jump. They'll never see it coming. If I knew any other lyrics to the Persona 5 battle theme, I would say them here. But that's it. I've played that game for how many dozens of hours now? Yeah, you'd think. Well, there's actually very little battling in that game. It's mostly just cutscenes. I'm going to take acceptance. I said I was going to take acceptance. I think that's still a good idea. Eventually switch that out for a little bit of dead inside action, just for the increased malaise more than anything else. But for right now, this is going to be the number one thing to keep me alive, especially as I now have 15 curse. Well, no, there's enemies in here, which means that I can... Regular shock, yes. Now, that's actually a good question, because Telluric, I think, means, like, earth, of the earth. So is your regular attack just called shock? Because the other one, you know, makes a bunch of the ground spikes appear. You know, Doc Firebird channel, asking the real big questions. In the past, I've always referred to it as... Oh, come on now. In the past, I've always referred to it as a dive attack, because that's what the Well, it says downward smash attacks now, so I guess they're smash attacks? But originally it said the dive attacks would leave oil on the ground or something like that, and much like everything else in the game, it gets a nomenclature change occasionally. I almost think I should keep this, but as long as I play this a little bit cautiously, and I'm cursed, so I better be playing this cautiously, I shouldn't need a lot of extra healing. Come on now. Can't believe that this still isn't one-shotting enemies. I mean, it probably would one-shot that shocker, but I'm not going to wait for the cooldown to get up for that alone. Let's try to combo a couple enemies. Cool. I was worried that I might have rolled a little bit too quickly there. And it would have been yet another death to curse. Number one killer of me on 5 cell+ difficulty, and especially on survival runs. That's why acceptance, I think, becomes so much more useful. Well, it becomes useful because I like to throw caution to the wind and just attack enemies regardless of how well I think I'm going to do against them. Good combo. Unfortunately, come on, really? Really? You are killing me, video game. Sure, extra stats are better than not. And yeah, all right. There is a good chance. There is a good chance that I might be able to get an assault shield that has a modifier on it that gives me enemies on hit. Nope. Okay, good. Enemies on hit generate a cloud of toxin, or maybe just poisons enemies when you hit them. Which normally that doesn't really work too well, but since you can actually hit enemies with this, it's a good way to set up some decent synergies. One of the few reasons why I might be returning to this shield after this run is over, because that does have, I mean, it does work as a regular shield after all. And it does also work as some nice synergistic enablers if I could possibly get that on there. It is a rare modifier, but I'm going to... given that I don't really have a whole lot of other... Given that I don't really have a whole lot of other things unlocked for this run... Oh, that was close. I think it's going to be fairly effective nonetheless. And by that, I mean, I forgot what I was saying previously, and I meant to say that there's a good chance that I'll be seeing it. This is the more accurate statement. Maybe I should be trying to see if I can't find some of that right now. Because that poison on hit and poison on... What's this? Interesting. I mean, I guess it's not quite the same thing. If it's a good shield... If it's got some good modifiers on it, that might actually be worth taking over the assault shield. And I dare say that it would still work pretty well as far as thematicness goes, because, the pushing is really ultimately just knockback and pushing. They're kind of two sides of the same coin if you think about it. You're buying this, right? Look, I want the extra stats. Come on. Just let me have it this once. I'm sure that I'm going to find that releases a toxic cloud on hit, and then I'll just be switching right back to that, and it'll all be back to status quo. Yeah, I kind of like to bait that out, but it is also... There we go. So you get a lot of good parries with that. Doesn't seem like it works... Poison's enemies blocked with a parry. Almost, but not quite. No. I'm keeping the stats for right now. Don't get me wrong. If there wasn't that legendary item there, I would absolutely take that. But I'm already screwing up the whole speed run thing that I kind of hinted, but didn't even attempt to make good on before. I'm going to roll with this, okay? Stupid legendary weapons. I mean, they're one of the biggest boons that you can get in a survival-based run. But I mean, just ask my previous attempt at... Well, previous, but still pretty old attempt at doing a second shovel showcase, which ended with me just, well, instead taking a legendary shield. It happens, is what I'm saying. And it will continue to happen. I'm curious as to what I'm going to be getting in the next area. If it happens to be a legendary version of the Symmetrical Lance, I could not be happier. Or, of course, legendary version of the Telluric Shock would also be great. The bomb I like having, but should go without saying that that's not really a priority to try to find more of those. Really, it would be effectively the same thing if I just took 2 Telluric Shocks at this point. And yeah, as you can see here, comparison of stuff. Getting almost 1,000 extra damage with a powerful grenade, but only 3 extra seconds on the count. The shockwave that you get off Telluric Shock is very big, but I don't know. That's not really something that I think would make a huge difference in most cases. And besides, the fact that it's always on the ground, don't try to take that into the giant fight. Let's just say that. Gonna have a bad time. Cue Megalovania. I don't even know what I'm looking for there. I should probably be looking for a better version of Telluric Shock, if anything. That was kind of weird. I guess it was because I jumped into this. Interesting. Oh, that was very close. Nope. I do like freeze enemies block the parry, but it's hard to get parries with this weapon. I need to be on hit. What do you got? 20% flat extra damage is kind of better than the extra critical hits because, well, I'm not going to get any use out of that when it comes to boss fights, after all. Maybe 2 seconds of use when I come back to the originator of the weapon, but that's about it. And maybe in 5-cell spoiler area, I will also get an additional 2 seconds of usage, which is even less useful if you think about it. It's an endurance fight. One of the reasons why survival works so well against true final boss. What else we got going on here? I mean, I should be pretty much... I think I'm completed with the curse chest and everything in this area, so it's just a cursory glance around here, see if I can't find any extra stats, and then book her on out. And continue what's actually been a pretty good run so far. I'm probably going to be blowing a lot of money on... Come on. No, you want it. Probably going to be blowing a lot of money on getting rid of some of this malaise, but if that's the worst thing that I got going on here, that's fine by me. Can't quite do the same thing with a bank shot with the Telluric Shock, but the huge, like this, can make a little bit more of a difference. Great at clearing out huge groups of enemies. This would definitely be a go-to weapon if the grenade did not exist. Oh, nope. One of the things I really love about the Symmetrical Lance is that you can clearly take it out and then roll out of that animation. It really makes my indecisiveness extremely apparent when I do that sort of stuff. Oh, come on. You know, I would much rather deal with failed experiments more than many other enemies, but that dodge attack is still one of the most obnoxious things in the entire game. And I get it. It's a sort of thing that you would expect I missed parrying that? Weird. It's the sort of thing that you would expect a late game enemy to have. It's very high tech to give dudes their own dodge roll. I mean, outside of the dodge roll, that like nope. Outside of the dodge roll that the stalkers have, for example. But it's like those guys will use that the second that you even start attacking them. And that's what makes them so dangerous. And also so annoying to fight. even if you try parrying them. I think that's the one thing that I would probably take away from their repertoire. Their ability to dodge a parry. It's like, come on, how do you... I guess, you know, they might be failed experiments, but they are still the elitist of the elite, despite that. Come on. Come on, I'm just baiting this out, because I want to regain my pride by... No? Not worth it. I want to regain my pride by getting some successful parries here. Okay, what do I want to do? Yeah, because it's not as much as I would like. I'm just going to do that real quick, because I should be able to take 5 enemies out pretty easily. Jeez. It's a lot like the living failures in Bloodborne, where sure they might be living failures, but they can certainly still pull off some pretty impressive tricks, including having one of my favorite tracks in the entire game. The transition from phase 1 to phase 2 is really good. And I know as much as people like a few of the other tracks there, of course the first boss, whom I have forgotten the name of in the DLC. Oh no, this is embarrassing. Lawrence, I remember his name. Living failures just kind of get lost among the shuffle. Also just a very great phase change too. I don't know, it's do a lot of people a forgettable boss fight? One of my favorites, even though I never actually played the DLC for Bloodborne. Didn't want to go through the effort of buying it, basically. Watch a million other people play it, so there we go. That's the sort of synergistic exposure that I need, at least. I might be able to get something to work there. Hard to say. You have to try to jump over the concierge at the same time that try to jump over the concierge's damage field, which didn't quite work as well as I thought. Also, yeah, something I didn't actually notice. The Ruby Amulet has burn the ground when you do a leap. I never really thought about that, but yeah, Telluric Shock is actually a very good way to enable that sort of synergy, which is kind of neat. Again, one of those things like, well, maybe if we're, 100% on fire targets was still a big thing, that could pretty much be considered an instant way for you to get a lot of extra synergistic damage. These days, I guess, the 30% that you can get is not insignificant, but, It's usually one of those things, like, I don't think too much about trying to get that. Especially considering that poison is 3 times more damage for what's often the same price. Well, wasn't going to get a perfect fight anyway. I suppose shouldn't be too bad at myself. Good thing that I had a lot of iframes there. Good. I was worried that I might have had a big old face full of damage field there if I wasn't able to swing that fast enough. And by that, I mean my character doesn't have a face. No legendary weapon, but I suppose I can deal with that. And I guess I'll try to go into the Slumbering Sanctuary. I've been using my old-fashioned route too much. Let's at least switch it up slightly. Now, is this what got me killed in the last couple Lightspeed runs? Yes, but I'm doing it anyway. I don't know. I mean, it's just curses. Just gotta watch out for curses. As of right now, everything else, max potion charges, no malaise. Should be at full health in mere seconds. I'll be just fine, is what I'm saying. Unless I decide to get cursed. Come on, give me something good. I like that generates a shield, but it's not good enough. I was hoping to get something along the lines of poisons enemies. Because you can poison a huge swath of enemies with the range that this weapon has. There we go. Well, 1 point of malaise now, but I guess that's not terrible. And sure, why not? Could also... Should probably save up maybe for a potion charge if I absolutely need it, but yeah. You know what will prevent me from needing a potion charge? Just some good weapons. Kill an enemy before it kills you. It's the perfect type of CC. And I got the critical on there. Can take out that dude effortlessly. I tried. I gave a real attempt there. Didn't quite work out like I was looking for. Good. And done. And that was a lot of fun combos here. Like I was saying, I do think that you might be able to do some interesting stuff with... some interesting stuff with just the movement options that this weapon could potentially give you alone. But I gotta say... Okay. But I gotta say that I don't really think that's going to... It's a little too awkward. It's a little too weird to try to make sure that your jump up in the air does something very effective or amazing. Maybe some, like, you know, really tricky movements, like going under here and then bam. But that's about all I can think of. If it had a huge... You know, I do know that it has a lot of extra invincibility frames when you're using this now. Maybe it would be worth trying to... Nope, that did not work at all. Use it to get past traps is what I was going to say. You know, get a little bit of a head up in your challenge rifts. But, no, don't do that. Because apparently the iframes are not as effective as I thought. Very nice. Cool. Would like to... I'm kind of feeling the lack of Assault Shield at this point in time. There's a couple areas that, even though I did get the parries off properly, I just feel like, I could do it better. What is this? What are you doing here? This sort of situation, for example, would definitely be of the sort where I would like to have the Assault Shield, as it turns out. Okay. Ooh, wow, I actually did get the parries there. I'm kind of shocked. Okay. Telluric Shocked? Yes. Of course I am. Good, 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 good. Even though I don't try to, you know, exploit that mechanic as much as I have in the past, making sure that you just get some good breaches on enemies is an effective way to take out, you know, just prevent them from attacking. Sometimes just hitting dudes hard enough is also the ideal CC. Oh my. Well then. Well then, I know what I'm buying at the shop. It's a potion charge. Let's just go do that right now. Well, check out the rest of the area, and then, you know what? Just because I want to. Oh, come on now. You know, I do want to petition Motion Twin. Make it so that the demons are not affected by the... They fly and everything like that. You don't have bats be affected by the defenders. You don't have Kamikaze be affected by them. Why these guys? Why are they the exception? I mean, yes, it does make it more difficult, but come on. I guess what I'm saying is, come on. Good parry. Let's get up here so I can stop getting bombardiered at the same time I'm just trying to fight this dude. Like, come on, 1v1 me. And of course the invincibility barrier comes right up there. You know, I'll give you this. One thing that... Well, there's a couple things that the giant whistle has on... Weird. There's a couple things that the giant whistle has on the... grenade. For example, the ability to hit enemies even though you're nowhere near them. Okay. Just getting to this shop was a trial, now wasn't it? But also the ability to just completely take out defenders with barely being able to even see them is pretty helpful and is something that I am definitely missing right now. Telluric Shock definitely does not have that same thing. Alright, Tonic's okay, but come on. I might end up taking it for, I don't know, the final boss fight, but for right now, I think that going as much damage as possible, throwing it all into damage up is the order of the day. Okay. I'm not going to be able to afford just about anything right now, so why even bother? Just keep in mind all the places where you can get those curse chests, because definitely going to be trying to use... Definitely going to be grabbing all of those right before I leave. Alright. Even though I can totally weather getting fallen down into spikes, I don't want to anyway. There. That was a little awkward, but it worked out nonetheless. Okay. Just get up here. Make sure that I don't get comboed by two of those things again. It didn't kill me, but got about as close as you can without going over. Well, this is all a lot of malarkey. Oh no, not that. Well, that works at least a little bit. Oh, my greatest enemy. Doors that... Alright then. The doors that are up here without a floor underneath them. Pretty much how I build... Doors in Terraria. I won't keep it for long. Just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. And then I'll dump it. I'll go repick that back up. And then, don't even worry about it. Bob's your uncle, and I won't be cheating anymore. Yes. Okay, and one more. There, that'll work. Okay, there's one. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of it because I'm just going to use and abuse it otherwise. And I already feel like I'm abusing it a little too. I'm abusing it a little too much, even though I didn't really. I mean, you can't prove that I was abusing it at all. I mean, really, what's the difference between use and abuse? That was the proper way you should use that. I wasn't wasting an hour inching my way through an area. That would be how you'd abuse it. No. What do you got? Nothing. Still looking for the perfect type of symmetrical lance. These ones are okay, but come on, I can do better than this. Certainly. I mean, if not, I can always just go and get what, like, 30 points of... If I decide to go to the Sepulchre, go get 30 points worth of the... Survival? The Survival. Well, you can see where my brain is at today. Playing video games for too long. Let's go. Nope. Colorless version of that. Nah, if everything that you get that is related to the Hand of the King is not survival, the man wears frontline shields to protect his thighs. He is survival incarnate, is what I'm saying. Can I get down easy? Now, am I going to die if I try to get down to the food shop? Because I would like to go get the cough syrup if I possibly can, but if I can't, I will sacrifice that without feeling too bad. Good. Yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if I cleared out that area, but I guess I did. So, right in here. And, yeah, I did also clear out the rest of this area, right? Had a hard time getting in here, but... yeah, okay. Curses. Curses kill me more than anything else in 5-cell mode these days. Blah, 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 doubly so survival. Okay, just get out of here. Get out of here, get on with this. I shouldn't be moving at a glacial pace just because I already said that I wasn't going to with the invisibility necklace. So why start now? And yeah, let's go into the clock tower. Try to at least have the second half be a little bit more unusual. Besides, with every enemy grouping up so well in this area, and not a whole lot of flying enemies, for example, I should be able to get quite a bit of use out of Telluric Shock. As long as I don't accidentally, say, jump into spikes. Which is, of course, more than possible. Okay. Do I even care? Nope. Not even a little bit. 3 curse, and then there's only 1 curse chest in this entire area. So as long as I don't completely screw this up... No, that's not an invitation to have a hard cut to me screwing up. Should be fine. Good. There we go. Same thing right there. And I guess if I wanted to get rid of my last bit of infection, but that's another 5 curse that I have to get rid of. And I'm already looking forward to that sweet, sweet release that you know when you get to the final curse chest of the run. Because Motion Twin designs this, that you should be taking curse chests. Well, on higher cell difficulty, not so much on, yeah, your lower cell stuff. So when you get to either here or the Sepulchre has 2 curse chests. All you gotta do is get both of them, and you're done. You're done for the run. This area has 1 curse chest, so it's even a little bit more of a relief. Because you know that all you gotta do is just leave 5 enemies that are going to... Oh, come on now! Ah, the sweeping shield, man. This would be good. And done. All right. Toxic Cloud when you take damage. Almost tempting, but not enough. There's also probably an area where I can just do this. I'm taking a little bit too much damage for that. A fun idea, though. Come on, get that Autonoma up here. I mean, I can... where do they just disappear after they attack you once? I never understood that. Haven't been coming to this area enough to... Sure. Haven't been coming to this area enough to quite get a good handle on how the automatons work. Maybe I should be trying that more. Well, hey, suggested runs can suggest routes that I should be taking. Maybe not the best idea for that rampage there, now was it? Cool. And done. Huh. Worked out just fine. Hey, finally got a good look at least what they look like. That's neat. Okay. I do like their design, but they don't appear anywhere else aside from the clock tower for, well, obvious reasons. Got their own light speed, and it clearly does not help them. It helps them about as much as it helps me. It's not a bad weapon. It's just not quite the type of playstyle that I like. The Assassin's build, I talked about that quite a bit. It is one where I think it does have some promise. I do think it is one that you want to play a little bit slow. Right into the spikes. Come on now. You want to play a little bit slow, cautiously. Make sure that you are picking and choosing your targets. It's called an assassin, and assassins aren't... Well, assassins are swift, but they're swift when the time comes. Before that, it's a lot of prep-up work. Which is why you have mutations like Scheme and everything that explicitly work to make that function. And I'm just bad at doing that. I do think if I keep that in mind. Also had some pretty good suggestions as far as other items that I could be taking for that sort of thing. Other builds that I could be attempting. I might have a decent run. Just something I want to do eventually more as a point of pride even than trying to really get some sick new strats happening with Dead Cells. I just want to be able to prove it to myself that I can do it. Dang, dude. At least, much like the actual Timekeeper, very susceptible to parrying. Which is one of them, well, a couple of reasons why I'm glad that I got a shield for this run. Come on, come on. Yeah. Poisons the enemy or releases a cloud of poison. That's all I'm asking for. I would like to think that that would be an easy thing to accomplish. Let's get the fall damage one. Just because I wanted to. Just to style on him. Because, I mean, what is life truly worth living if you can't style on your foes? Be a little bit cautious there. 60 kill door still intact. Might be able to go grab that, but yeah, looks like I'm going up from here. I am a little bit worried. Want to make sure that I'm not killing too many enemies. Like I said, I still do have one more curse chest to get, and if I look, I was saying that the shield might be able to counter the Timekeeper well, but let me tell you, I still expect myself to be taking at least one hit over the course of that. Hello. That works. Good, good. Good and great. And I'm betting right up here. Well, it's another stat scroll, but right up here is also the curse chest. I don't really remember what's in the cell doors for this area, but I remember that it's not super essential items. I always got to have that dramatic pause for doing parries. I mean, otherwise, you know, you don't give it quite the amount of respect that it deserves, the reverence. And not because I'm just trying to make sure that I don't die. What you got? I like that. Now, that does lose a lot of stats for me, unfortunately, but I still think it's worth it. It's exactly what I'm looking for. I mean, I said that I wanted a weapon like this. Well, ask and ye shall receive. Okay, where am I actually going here? I think it's a little bit farther down, and I should be able to find a bevy of enemies that I can get some pretty sick curse relief on. Okay. Maybe not... Ooh, watch out for that. Maybe not the elite, but everything else, though, should be just fine. Nope, nope, don't you dare. Alright. Oh, wait, there's a... Oh, okay. There was a spike there. That could have killed... That would have killed... I'm kind of... You know, falling on top of the thing there actually saved my life, I think. Falling on top of the enemy and having them just ever so slightly nudge me off of the death zone that was that spike. Trying to play as cautious as possible, but Mistakes can still be made. Human error. And that was literally the last curse that I would have had to deal with. And the last point of the last curse. Well, I had one more, but the last 2 points is a disturbing way to face your mortality. But at least now I'm sitting pretty, knowing that I have 69 nice kills. Going into the clock room, I'm feeling pretty good. And I knew that I would. I always said, oh, 1250 is not bad. Anything else you want to try to sell me on? No. Well, actually, I might, now that I have the poison synergy, I might want to go try to reroll this for poison and then toss it aside. If I can't manage to get that. Yeah. I think I'm going to toss it aside because I didn't manage to get that. 2 times damage. 50% extra damage doesn't make that much of a difference if I'm losing out on 200% damage. Well, 150. Losing out on 2 times damage modifier. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, I think full on the classic build is the one I'm going to be going with here. Call it the classic for a good example. You want survival, this thing will give you pure survival. Like you could scarcely imagine. Well, a good start. Increasingly poor starts. Just maybe the worst that I have played the Timekeeper in some time. Keeper. There, that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, I don't think that this shield can parry in the same way that... Come on, now. Okay. Just looking for a safe time to be able to drink the flask there. And there's not a whole lot in this fight. You have to be quite cautious. After all, slow weapons are none too effective when it comes to this battle. I guess one of the things you got to remember is that you will probably get to the point where... Oh, come on now. Well, that was a very bad fight. Survival weapons don't work too well here. And boy, that was... Ugh, terrible. Oh, well, I'm sure that the rest of this will at least go moderately okay comparatively. Look, you made it to the castle. That's always an accomplishment, if nothing else. And I don't know. Losing the heart is... Especially losing the heart for non-malaise related problems is the real issue, is the real embarrassment here more than anything else. Well, good enough. I don't know. There's absolutely no reason to do that. It's just tradition at this point, I guess. A tradition that I enforced on myself. 2 potion charges and the heart down. It's a rare time that you get a Timekeeper fight that goes that poorly. She's very susceptible to burst down type of builds, and then very unsusceptible. You know what? I'm just going to move on from that sentence, given how badly I bungled it, and we'll just all forget that I even made an attempt to say that. Cool. Ah! Wait, how come my hit doesn't trump his. This run is, like, literally falling apart before my eyes. Which is to say that my character is falling apart, not like the run itself. But I mean, you know, each one of these bodies is a run by itself, if you think about it like that. And then the bodies go to their final rest at Yon's big, gross pile of corpses, as we all will one day. Good. Okay, well, at least when I actually get to the Hand of the King, it's going to be a little bit better, marginally better, because you know, his bomb attack is pretty well countered by... Okay, yeah, okay, that'll work. His bomb attack is pretty well countered by stuff I got going on here, the shield especially. Alright, well... Maybe this is not a 3-key type of run. It's not of 3-key caliber. The play style that I got going on here is not of 3-key style. You know what, just bring out the old thing, hey girl, you know I like to get 3 keys, but I can't do it this time. Bombers are also very resistant to anything that Telluric Shock is throwing down, which is to say a lot of earth. Which is unfortunate because it's another point in the favor of... something good? Another point in the favor of... strange. The bomb. Yeah, Giant Whistle definitely has its own unique charm to it. Which is to say, it's just the best at clearing out curses, if nothing else. Hits behind you. There. Telluric Shock just doesn't quite have that same amount of... I'll try it. Ooh. This would be a bit questionable if I didn't have a very simple escape plan. Or at least, well, that's something. You know what? I'm going to take that right now just because I really could use the extra stats, the extra ability to survive in any way possible that I got. Hello? No? No. Cut that out right now. Yeah, let's just see if I can't get a good go here. Just try to see if I can't finish this one up with a bang. Or a whimper. Or some sort of combination of the two. I'll try to go in here without worrying too much about optimal mutations right now. Slow weapons also don't do very well against the Hand of the King, but that's sometimes because I get too greedy, try to get too much damage going on. It's a real problem. However, if I can not focus on not doing that. Well then. Yeah, that's okay. And one more, and then Telluric Shock. To finish up this farce of a fight. Wait, no, did I get hit like right at the last second? I do believe I did. Okay. Oh, well, there's that. All right, part 2. This time coming at you from the land of wind and ghosts known as post-commentary. And I'm sure you can probably tell at the end of the previous run that maybe the second half of that whole thing was just terrible, just awful. I was playing horribly, so I wanted to try to see if I couldn't get a better run just by not commentating at the same time, and I do think it really worked out. I mean, first off, still have the heart, still have 4 potion charges. I do have a shield this time that has 2 stats on it, while also still having the explode into toxic cloud affix. And I mean, really, okay, I still have high melees, so can't win them all, but overall, it's looking so much better. And, of course, heading through the Sepulchre, as well as the Depths and the Ossuary, has given me 31 survival, so it's given me the ability to be a lot more carefree, a lot more reckless with my play here, which has worked out a lot better than it has in the past when it comes to the castle. So, really, I think maybe I should be doing a little bit more post-commentary stuff. You know, after you die one time in a run, just switch on to post-commentary, because let's be honest, I don't think anyone's going to mind. The only people that are making it to this part of the video are the true believers anyway, as Stan Lee would say. Yeah, 31 just cleaving through enemies, and at the same time, pretty much everything I have is one-shotting just about anything I'm coming up against. Telluric Shock just barely grazing that Guardian Knight still nearly killed him. And when you do have... The area that Telluric Shock covers is big. Should go without saying. That's the biggest plus that this weapon has to it. And you can just clear an entire floor, I guess, of enemies. One horizontal surface is obliterated when you get to this level of stats. I was kind of hoping that it was going to go for the fire shot so that I could parry back, but didn't quite happen there, so we just kind of stood and stared at each other for a while. Oh boy. War Spear. I tried to play a couple different runs over the course of the night that I recorded this, and I got War Spear like 3 times. And I was seriously considering taking it. It's just, I think that the reason was that it didn't have 100% on poison. And since I had the great affix enabler on the shield there, that I didn't want to give that up. Besides, I'm doing something of a themed run, and although I do think that War Spear, in a lot of ways, can be a little bit better, like a little bit more range, easier to fulfill critical and everything like that version of the symmetrical lance, it's not what the Hand of the King uses. So how can I possibly take that? 52 enemies killed, and it's been, what, like 3 minutes into this run? Oh boy, it's... You know, you really do want to pick and choose your routes. Something that has the Sepulchre, the Depths, everything like that, gives you such a huge advantage. The only problem is that it does take a lot longer to go through each one of these areas. Well, I mean, you get an extra area, and then, of course, the Sepulchre is just longer entirely, I want to say. Well, it depends on how quickly you can go through the clock tower. Going through something like the Cavern, though, as well as the Graveyard, you are absolutely going to be getting a pretty hefty time increase on your run when doing that. And I do like kinda... I'm still surprised that parrying doesn't really work on those guys. I mean, it doesn't work on the Hand of the King either, but... They're not the Hand of the King. They're just the closest thing you can get to them without going over. Well, anyway, I do know that one of the things that is going to be coming up in, I think, an update that Motion Twin is planning next month. I vaguely heard about this in chat. I don't really remember it too well. Ah, there's the first hit, but at least I got the 60 kills, if nothing else. And, might be playing better post-commentary, but, doesn't mean that I'm not going to get hit by balls and chains all the time. Every time. Good stuff. Well, anyway, yeah, one of the updates that's going to be coming next month is going to be trying to reduce the amount of time it takes to do a 5-cell run, which is usually anywhere from, I don't know, like 45, 50 minutes to an hour and a half. And if it's your first time going through here, I mean, obviously it isn't my first time at the rodeo, and it still takes that long. I've always said that the platonic ideal for any one of these videos, at least in the past, was about a half-hour long, but as more and more content got added, it just has started to take a long time. So it's not something I'm opposed to. I mean, I've even floated the idea in the past of just straight up going for the Enter the Gungeon style turbo run, where the game literally just runs 20% faster. I mean, it would add an extra challenge at the same time. It would also make runs quicker. So, how could I possibly complain? All right. The demons are still going to be kind of the biggest issue here. As long as I make sure that I save... I don't even know. I was trying to hit it out of the air with the shield because I can't really use my symmetrical lance fast enough to hit a demon in the middle of the air, but that's just didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. Also, I don't know if I got this in the regular run, but at this point in time, I did get the glitch where I just constantly have the little arrow above my health bar at all points in time. I don't know why it does this, but it seems like if you use the Assault Shield on the Thorny's back, you just always get a crit. Now, is that ever really going to come up in any usable situation? Probably not. But it's something to know. It's a strange use case, but it is a use case. Can't say it's not. 2 points of malaise. I do have the heart and everything, but, you know, you don't want to try to... One of the great things about the heart is that with necromancy, you can really build up your health after you lose the heart. That is not going to happen in the middle of a boss fight, so... This is kind of the time to be using a potion charge. I have 4 of them, which is pretty good, all things considered. So, yeah. Just to make sure that I'm not dying to malaise in that fight than anything else. And the Hand of the King, I think, is better than fighting the Timekeeper when it comes to slow weaponry because, well, he's also pretty slow too. If I didn't already have the shield, I would take that. But no, it's not worth it. If it had 100% on poison at the same time, yes. But right now, I'm getting, 2 times damage with a fairly easy to fulfill, with a fairly easy to get poison on enemies here. So, I don't know. All right, let's get in here. Hand of the King v. Hand of the King, except I, instead of having a bunch of small bombs, I just have one big one. It's pretty much the same thing. You can't argue with me on that one. Should really just be hitting him with the shield first to try to get the affix on... affix. Try to get the synergies on there. I did it quickly, but could have been quicker. Look, kind of, I feel like I might have gotten a little bit of an extra boost from... so close. A little bit of an extra boost from the... from, like, jumping off the Hand of the King there. That was also pretty bad. Thankfully, the huge amount of stats that I have are also still working out to give me a decent amount of rally. And a little bit. I mean, it gets the poison on there, if nothing else. Also, what was that there? I had, like, extra slow fall with the... Bad idea. Bad idea. You gotta make sure that you're in a good position first. So, but yeah, I think it might have been something where I tried to use the dash with the shield at the... I tried to use the dash with the shield at the same time that I used the Telluric Shock, and it just kind of went funky town. Yeah, go for the parries here. It's a little bit awkward with the Assault Shield, and I don't think you're going to be able to chain it very well, but at least it's something that you can... after you fight this guy enough, you're going to be able to consistently do this, is what I'm saying. And bam. On his own last swing of the combo, I beat him with my own symmetrical lance. The irony is palpable. I'm palping it right now. Well, if I had 3 potion charges, which I had coming into this fight, and especially if I had the heart, I would say that I got a pretty good chance at beating this. However, as it is right now, more questionable. I do think that I'm going to get through the Astrolabe, but I don't think I'm going to get much farther than that. Well, let's see how it goes nonetheless. I always say that the way that these runs work is that I'm just planning to beat the hand of the king, and anything else is gravy. Everything else is just, fighting delirium or whatever on an Isaac run. You already can't. That is. When was the last time I even got hit by that? It's such a well telegraphed attack, and it's so obvious, and all you got to do is just roll or even just walk out of the way of that bomb. It's like getting hit by the melee attack from those bombers. Well, of course, what was I even thinking there? I was just about to dive directly into oblivion. At least as far as I know. Maybe there's something down there, but Well, hey, this is Dead Cells. If you aren't thinking fast, you're dead. Cells. You might think dead meat. No. Meat is made out of cells. Seems like I would have been okay, but still. Bad play on my part. I mean, I suppose you can kind of explore with the double jump, and then maybe also even utilizing Telluric Shock. I could kind of explore left and right a pretty good amount, but is that really the best idea? I mean, maybe if I was looking for a speed running, also with a shield, I guess I can also, if there was something to get onto, I could maybe dash with the shield to try to get over there. Speaking of which, I have just not been using that enough. Well, an interesting idea, but no. Also too expensive anyway. There's no way I'm going to get enough money to afford that there. I think that right now what I'm mostly waiting for is seeing what other shop that I might get if I do happen to get a food shop in here. It happens occasionally. Hey, that was max damage. It happens occasionally, but not as often as I would like it. That I would wait to pick that up for later. Besides, I might want to re-roll it or something, try to get maximum stats before I end this. Oh, those librarians are just... And great, there's a second one immediately. Well, if the bomb is up, I might be able to... Good. I hate those things so much. And this is the worst... Like something, if you have a good ranged build, doesn't matter at all. But if you got like a slow melee build, which this tends to be, if I don't have Telluric Shock and or the heavy grenade up, it's just a bad time for everybody. Yeah, just random. I don't know what I even want. I was thinking about maybe taking a tonic in, but I decided to just go pure damage. Besides, I didn't get one anyway. Here I just realized, wait a second, why am I not just going into the shop? It won't attack me in the shop. And there's where just bumping him with the shield was, that was what I was planning to do earlier. Yeah, the worst thing about the librarians is that they attract you from a very far distance away. You would think that all that book reading would give them terrible eyesight. That's what I was taught from the Roald Dahl story about Matilda. Is that just called Matilda? I'm doing this post-commentary. I can just look that up. I really got to be doing more post-commentary stuff. It is much easier to gather your thoughts and be able to remember what you're saying. Box office bomb. Boy, oh boy. Novel of the same name. Cool. Anyway, yeah, not quite playing as well as the castle. I mean, the fatigue does set in pretty quick, which is another reason why I would like to see the game get a little bit more, a little bit more, what would the word be? Like, speedy? Efficient? Shorter? I don't really know. I guess if you're looking for big old marathon runs, look no further than Dead Cells. Because you can get a lot of play out of a single 5-cell run, I'll tell you that. Didn't quite know where to go, but with the alien key in hand, I just am pretty much looking to get out of here. Yeah! Almost getting hit by the defender there, which is an embarrassing way to die. Also, where am I? It's a good thing I had that bomb up, because I probably would have taken a decent amount of damage there. Well, I'm above something, so This is probably where I want to go. Yeah. Wizard Tower right here. All right. Like I said, the only thing left for this run is to make it to the ending. And the worst part about going through the tower now is that any librarian that is inside of it will immediately start trying to attack you as soon as you go by them. There's a lot of very small, confined areas here already, along with bombers, which I'm having quite a difficult time with as it is. Yeah, I was worried there for a second, but I forgot. Right. Just went right up to the electricity. And the electricity is apparently more powerful than anything that I've ever had in my arsenal because it goes right through the defender shield. Almost walked directly into that thing. Which would have been an embarrassing way to take an extra point of malaise, but, well, with Dad inside and everything, well, at least I would have undone it immediately. With Dad inside and everything, I'm not super worried about malaise. Really, the second I get to the final boss, it's going to be... And I always say it's an endurance fight. And that is especially true when you're working with slow weapons like this one. Slow weapons that don't have immediately easy to get crits. I tried to use Telluric Shock there, it didn't quite work. Yeah, I don't think that librarians fall. This is horrible. Oh, come on. Oh, why am I so bad at fighting these things? And dealing with that attack. You'd think that the amount of librarians that I fought so far would have prepared me for it a little bit better. Nope. Still getting killed by that thing as much as ever. Well, hey, at least librarians make sure that there aren't always a bomber that's attacking you as soon as you get up to this part of the tower. That used to be the case. You always got to prepare for the one bomber that greets you as soon as you jump in the bottom. And I am trying to explicitly kill a bunch of enemies here just to try to get necromancy to work a little bit for me. And since I have 33 survival, it is actually working out pretty well right now. Because I'm getting almost 2% healed per each kill. And 50 down, all you gotta do is kill 25 enemies. Be back up to full health in no time, as long as I don't take any more damage past this point. And I don't see why I would do that. I mean, I think you've watched enough of my stuff to know that I'm not that incompetent. Wow. Quite the stat distribution there. a real sticky wicket. I eventually decide that I want to go with health rather than full-on damage. After all, it is pretty often that I'm hitting the damage cap with my weapon if I manage to get the poison on there and everything. Usually it's just on the third strike from my combo, but it still makes me think that sacrificing that much health for some extra damage is just not worth it. Juice ain't worth the squeeze. Okay. A little bit more, but I do want to mention that there is still the shop down there. Probably going to switch out one of my weapons for something. And then we got the final boss time, which has been somewhat tricky recently. I mean, I don't think the final boss is tremendously difficult to fight. It's just that you tend to get there when you don't really have a whole lot of potion charges. And if you are mostly based around doing a lot of really heavy burst damage, like, well, this build is. Yeah, 100% on poison, definitely. Then you're going to have a rough time of it regardless, unless your dodging is really on point. Or your burst damage is just incredibly good, and I mean, I'm talking glass cannon tactics build. So I did see the one enemy with a stat or legendary weapon or something down here. Yeah, sure. A nice little extra thing to get before I run into the boss. After all, I was just worried about my health, so having anything that buffs it up a little bit is very welcome. All right. actually a fairly fast run, all things considered. You can see the time in the bottom right corner. Not accurate because it doesn't count when you're in shops or in between areas, but at least it's a little bit faster than it was going before. All right. I think dead inside is the obvious choice, just for the extra health. Then I decide to go for extended healing. Get a little buff, get a lot of extra healing. And in general, I'm not getting blitzed down in a single hit, so I should have enough time to have that, my remaining potion charge do its magic. I think that something like, I don't know, disengagement would also work well, but well, I already chose it now, didn't I? Alright, like I said, burst damage is not going to be the most effective thing here. I think hitting him with, making sure that I always have the poison on there, not getting hit as much as possible, oh my god. And that didn't even get the parry. Not getting hit as much as possible, and then just trying to use my main hand weapon is kind of the way to do this. Telluric Shock is, especially when I'm suffering from his Telluric Shock, not doing me many favors. Well, here's the one time that I could possibly get the critical going on here. Might as well take advantage of it. Should have thrown on the, yeah, there we go. The poison first. It's the basic combo, and yet I keep forgetting it. All right. And this time I didn't immediately get hit by the tornado, by the blood tornado. Never really made mention of that, but when you see the tornado thing disappear against the wall, it does disappear in a shower of gore, which is always strange. Oh yeah, and there you can see the unusual properties of how the Assault Shield stuns enemies. A shocking amount. As much as I would like to get more usage out of that, it is just, enemies gain resistance to it pretty quickly, so you never really want to bank too much on that. The rare time that I'm able to do wall climbing when he's doing the stab move. Yeah, I've dealt with enough of these guys. I think I'm going to be fine. This is the frustrating thing, where I know that if I just had one more potion charge, this would be a lock. The damage is not amazing. I'm kind of cycling through the areas more times than I'd like, but it is definitely working out well enough otherwise. And then this move. Just gotta get it whenever you see the sparkles, but that's kind of hard to judge sometimes. Yeah, I think the thing with Telluric Shock 2 is that it does have a little bit of a problem where the slight jump up in the air makes it not as immediate as you'd like it sometimes. This is already looking very bad, but come on. I think that should be final phase. Also, getting hit too much. Yep, final phase. So all I gotta do is just get that, one, stop getting hit, and two, just get that final potion charge. And then it's gonna be fine. Oh, that was really risky. Haha, who saw that coming? All right, well, still a pretty good run nonetheless.